absolutely clear as a bell. My best moment with Pedro was T20 finals day, and it's very emotional actually when I even think about it. That we put a lot in as captain and coach, both in our first full years in those positions, and even though Stephen hadn't played in the T20 side, he was there. He was living and breathing every ball like we all were, and just we looked at each other with a bit of a tear in our eyes, and had a bit of a hug, and it was just we'd kind of achieved something that we'd worked hard for, and that was certainly the moment that will stay with me forever.
My best moment with Pedro was probably watching him get his 200. It being a huge thing for him to get, and when he finally got to that landmark, it was a pretty special moment. And also I remember when I first came into the team, it was a pretty intimidating place, and also South Africans around, and it was quite a hostile environment, but Pedro was always there for me, and that's something I'll always remember.
What was your best story with Pedro?
He didn't have any. He was an average stubborn
Who's the slowest?
Gotta be careful. Ollie Stone, because his ears get caught in the wind.
Probably my favourite story with Ped was my first class debut when we beat Worcester away, very much against the odds. And obviously my first game, we sang the team song afterwards, and Pedro decided to sing it on the balcony completely naked.
Well, I miss his banter definitely, and when our driver gets lost, he shouts at him on the phone or in the chat or somewhere. So I miss that one.
No one story springs to mind really. Just what I really enjoyed about Ped was, as opening the batting, you're going to have some failures, you're going to have some tough times, and he was very, very hard on himself. No doubt about that. He was his own worst critic, but he would sort of box that off, take himself away somewhere, deal with that, and then come back and be good around the group. Sometimes that took a while, but he didn't leak in the dressing room. He sort of looked after himself, came back in, and would then be back on side with the group. So it's a bit of a dull one from me. I really enjoyed that. Good team man.
What was his worst habit?
He always used to knock on the door. He used to knock on the door and find it hilarious. Knock, knock, and then wait for someone to say come in and then come in. And I can assure you I would not miss that.
What was your best moment with Pedro?
When open batting with him, it's not his best moment, but it's definitely my best moment.
Can you recall one of Pedro's best innings?
Probably, and he'll probably like me saying this, his T20 knock in Barbados when just kept hitting them massive sixes on that really tiny ground, so I reckon that's up there.
And sum Pedro up in one word.
Fossil. Fossil.
Now who's the most vain?
Rob Keogh.
And sum up Pedro in one word.
Geezer.